Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking an absolutely incredible true story. We're going to be looking at a captivating narrative of a young man's profound internal transformation. I mean, a shift so monumental, it completely changed the trajectory of his entire life. So let's just dive right into this amazing intersection of intellect, emotion, and profound spiritual awakening. Think about this for a second. Have you ever purposely avoided someone only for that exact person to completely rewrite your destiny? Seriously, take a second and really think about it. You know, we all have our biases, right? We make these snap judgments based on how people look, maybe how they talk, or where they come from. Well, today's explainer follows a brilliant young protagonist named Vinubhai. And as you'll see, his initial hesitation towards a highly revered spiritual leader perfectly mirrors how our own assumptions can sometimes totally blind us to life-altering encounters. Let's look at how Vinubhai's defenses were completely dismantled.
Section 1. A life-changing encounter. We're setting the scene in Anand back in 1951. To really understand this transformation, we have to travel back in time.
Okay, let's dive into this. At this time, Vinubhai was a highly educated, deeply rational young man. He viewed the world strictly through the lens of science and logic. So when he saw Yogi Maharaj, a revered spiritual leader, wearing these thick, simple clothes and speaking in a rural Kathiawadi dialect, well, to Vinubhai's intellect, this just didn't fit the mold of someone he wanted to associate with. In fact, he actively avoided him. But what he actually encountered was this boundless affection and absolute divine innocence. His, intellectual snobbery was about to meet a magnetic force it simply couldn't resist. So picture this. One day, Yogi Maharaj is visiting a home in Anand. Vinubhai, actively trying to avoid him, sneaks down a staircase to make his escape. But, as fate would have it, Yogi Maharaj is walking up that exact same staircase. And instead of being offended by this young guy literally trying to dodge him, Yogi Maharaj lovingly catches his hand and asks, "Guru, where are you going? Come upstairs." He brings Vinubhai up, casually chats with him, and then lovingly places a wooden beaded necklace, a Kanthi, around his neck, affectionately praising his physical strength. Vinubhai is completely caught off guard by this kind of selfless love. Then, just a day or two later, the true turning point happens. Vinubhai is sitting with friends on the embankment of a village pond. Yogi Maharaj is leaving town and spots him from a distance. He calls Vinubhai over. Now, imagine a highly revered spiritual leader doing what happens next. Yogi Maharaj folds his hands, flashes a smile of pure innocence, and says, "Here, we are leaving. Please forgive us for any mistakes we may have made." He lovingly pats Vinubhai and just walks away. I mean, wow. This radical humility completely shatters Vinubhai's rational defenses. He is literally stunned. He realizes right then and there, this is no ordinary person, but someone with a love even greater than a mother's. Moving on to Section 2, the platform of devotion. It's here, right at the Anand railway station, that a mere 10-minute train stop creates an eternal shift in Vinubhai's mind. So picture the chaotic scene. The train to Mumbai rolls into Anand station. It's loud, it's crowded, and bursting with devotees eager to see Yogi Maharaj. Vinubhai, still acting very shy, is hiding at a distance, leaning against a hotel wall just to catch a glimpse. But Yogi Maharaj spots him. He immediately steps down from the train, walks straight through all the commotion directly to Vinubhai, and showers him with that same boundless affection. The train whistle shrieks, it's time to go. Yogi Maharaj smiles, boards the compartment, and the train starts moving down the tracks. But as the train disappears, the chaos begins to fade. The devotees pack up and leave. The bustling platform slowly clears out. The noise dies down until the station becomes completely, heavily empty. Everyone is gone, but Vinubhai is still there. He stands completely frozen. He's described as being in a state of samadhi, this profound, trance-like spiritual absorption. That ocean of affection he just experienced, it hasn't receded at all in his mind. In fact, for the next 15 days, he returns to that exact same bench on the platform, sitting right in the middle of rushing crowds, entirely unaware of his surroundings. He is completely absorbed in the spiritual image of Yogi Maharaj. He had absolutely found the center of his life. Section 3. The Train to Transformation. This next major shift happens shortly after the Krishnashtami festival, marking the first real inspiration for Vinubhai to become a sadhu. It's the morning of Shravan Vad 11. Vinubhai runs and jumps into an incredibly crowded third-class train compartment heading to Ahmedabad, and he finds himself sitting directly across from another great sadhu, Pramukh Swami. Imagine the sensory overload, okay? The intense clattering of the tracks, the loud commotion of passengers all around them, actual black coal dust flying through the open windows. Yet amidst all this intense outer chaos, Pramukh Swami is speaking to him in broken Hindi, and Vinubhai is experiencing absolute inner peace and clarity. So the crucial point is how this life-altering suggestion is delivered. During this dusty, noisy ride, Pramukh Swami gently says to him, "You should become a sadhu. You will be able to do a lot of seva, which means selfless service." Notice what isn't there. There's no pressure, there's no force, no command. He simply described the sorrows of worldly life and the happiness found in God with such sweetness and clarity that Vinubhai felt like he was being held in a mother's lap. The seed was planted so beautifully and naturally. As they arrive back in Anand, the physical journey concludes, but the spiritual mentorship continues seamlessly. Before parting, Pramukh Swami smiles at the youths and gently reminds them, "Today is Ekadashi, do not eat anything." And Vinubhai happily accepts this fast. It was Pramukh Swami who initiated his very first fast, effectively merging his spiritual influence with Yogi Bapa's right there in Vinubhai's heart. The two figures were perfectly united in shaping this young man. Just look at how rapidly this timeline compounds. We start in 1951 with a simple, kind of humorous staircase meeting where Vinubhai tries to escape. Then, shortly after, we have the profound train ride with Pramukh Swami. The inspiration burns so brightly that just a year later, in 1952, at the Akshar Dairy Shrine in Gondal, Yogi Maharaj gives Vinubhai the explicit instruction to become a sadhu. But there is a catch. He tells Vinubhai he absolutely must complete his college studies and graduate first. Section 4. Balancing Science and Spirituality. Vinubhai now has this lofty, singular spiritual goal, but he has to ground it in practical, present-day reality at VP's Science College. Now, what's really interesting here is this number, 30. You see, Vinubhai wasn't just passing time in college. He was brilliant. Out of the entire student body, he was selected as one of only 30 elite students placed in Professor R.A. Dalve's special class for the highly intelligent. His spiritual devotion didn't detract from his academic excellence at all. If anything, it seemed to really focus it. In that elite class, he met a student named Vinubhai, and they formed this unbreakable friendship. But a year later, their academic paths actually diverged. Vinubhai headed to Mumbai to study medical science. He would actually later become a renowned sadhu himself, known as Dr. Swami. Vinubhai, however, chose a very specific path right there in Anand, agricultural science. And this brilliantly illustrates just how focused Vinubhai was on his ultimate goal. I mean, why agriculture? It definitely wasn't random. First off, studying in Anand allowed him proximity to Yogi Maharaj whenever he visited. Second, the college wasn't coeducational, which strongly supported his strict vow of brahmacharya, or celibacy. And third, it gave him the perfect environment to balance his worldly education with Brahmavidya, spiritual knowledge. He systematically organized his entire secular life just to protect and nurture his spiritual command. We started with a young man actively dodging a spiritual leader on a staircase, right? And we end with a focused scholar meticulously aligning his entire life to follow that exact same leader's word. The catalyst for all of this? Pure, unexpected, judgment-free love. So I want to leave you with this thought. When has a single moment of unexpected kindness completely rewritten your life's path? Who was your Yogi Maharaj on the staircase? Take some time to really think about that and keep seeking those transformative moments out there. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.